As the price of silver continues to go lower, we tend to see a lot of more vitriolic statements made towards these guys in the alternative media. And I've actually had to deal with some of that as well. Some people stalking me as well. But if you want to look at some bigger names and look at the Google Trends of these individuals, let's look at these guys. And number one, this is not an attack on any individual per se. This is just me analyzing it with another friend in an unbiased perspective. So I'm not hating on anyone whatsoever. Let's type in Chris Dwayne. Look at how his popularity peaked, or according to Google Trends, in July 2012. And November 2013, look where he's at. So it seems that, number one, you're starting to see many individuals turn against him. Let's type in another guy. Brother John F. Okay, let's look at this. His peak was in April of this year. And what happened in April of this year? This is according to Google Trends, by the way. This was a time where silver was like 26. It went all the way to 22. And it's like 19 right now, 19.2. And look at where he's right now. So it seems that people are, number one, going against these guys. They may still watch their videos, but they're losing faith in them. And if you want to look at it, price of silver is going down. They are getting hammered from some individuals, and you're seeing more of these guys who are Keynesians, pro-Federal Reserve, pro-money printing. They're starting to make videos attacking gold bugs left and right. Whether you like it or not, they are coming out. And it just seems like it's the opposite of 2011, the sentiment. I mean, you have to remember, gold bugs were really cocky. Now they're not cocky anymore, and they're losing interest, right? So let's type in something from 2011 that would, number one, remind us of the sentiment then. Let's type in crash JP Morgan. Remember the buy silver crash JP Morgan? Okay, crash JP Morgan. Look at how this trend. So this was in November 2012, and then all of a sudden it started to lose steam. So if you want to look at that, it just seems like people are losing, number one, not losing credibility, but they don't buy into these stories as much as they used to, or they're not going to these videos as much as they used to, or with that much interest. They're still getting views, don't get me wrong, but that's one thing to note. Now let's look at BitCoins. BitCoins. Look at this interest, right? There was barely any interest here, and then all of a sudden you're seeing this spike. So you're seeing a lot of interest now shifting from silver, crashing JP Morgan, to Bitcoins, okay? That's really interesting to note. And once again, in 2011, you saw a lot of gold bugs being really, really cocky. And it seems with Bitcoins now, a lot of people are being really, really cocky. Now let's go to my favorite Twitter page, or my new favorite Twitter page. It's Max Kaiser's Twitter page. Let's look at some of his tweets. Okay, and they tend to be a lot about Bitcoins, but first one's about savings rate. He retweeted no. And here's one from CoinDesk. I believe I may be following them. I don't know. Okay, it's a Bitcoin tweet. FinCEN should state that it rejects coin validation and any other tax on unrestricted fungibility for Bitcoin. Okay, Max Kaiser. For the first time in human history, mankind has found the technology to be able to regulate the banks. Okay? This guy's from Crypto Charity, okay? He's quoting a guy from a crypto charity. I don't know what that is, okay? Here's another thing about savings rate. So he doesn't like the fact that there's low interest rates, or people aren't saving. And I agree with him on that. Okay, and here's a tweet 4 hours ago. There's a pro-Bitcoin contingent that will bury the old libertarian Austrian guards. Guys like Dr. Gary North hoisted by their own petard. Okay, another one. Max Kaiser, the stalwart, who is Joe Wiesenthal of the Business Insider, had his come to Jesus moment regarding Bitcoin. Dr. Gary North will have his come to Satoshi after the next Kaiser report airs. And Kaiser, another tweet about the Austrian school and Bitcoins. We report on huge split in Austrian school regarding Bitcoin. Losers include Gary North. You'll have to tune into who's on the winning side. Okay, so as you can see, let's do one more tweet. I haven't heard Gary North's name in over 10 years after you predicted mayhem now. Okay, here's another one. Ben Smith. I don't know who Ben Smith is. Sounds interesting. I've been waiting to see which libertarians want to ban Bitcoins. Okay. Okay. So basically, right now, you see all these tweets on Max Kaiser. I would roughly say around 60% in the last few days I've been following him, or just in general. It's Bitcoins, 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 Bitcoins. He's going after libertarians in the Austrian school again. In addition to that, he constantly talking about Bitcoins. And it just seems like the sentiment has shifted. That instead of talking about silver, he's going with the hot hand, Bitcoins. So, I'm not going to give any advice, financial advice. That's for you to do. But if you notice one thing, it just seems like it's 2011 over again. You see cockiness going on from these pro-Bitcoin guys on one end, and on the other end, you see these guys who hate gold and silver. They're bashing people left and right, and there seems to be a loss in interest in gold and silver. And it just seems that, number one, going forward, you're going to see the opposite happen in 2011 when it comes to gold and silver. You're going to see these guys who hate gold and silver, they're going to come out saying that you guys are charlatans, you guys are quacks, you guys need to be arrested, as some of these channels I saw. It's insane. Or I saw this one channel, it said that Fabian for Liberty should be arrested. Vision Victory should be arrested. I saw this one guy make that comment, or girl. I don't know what gender this person is. And one of the videos they had in this YouTube channel is number one, saying that Peter Schiff is part of the Jewish conspiracy, and they promote Peter Schiff because, number one, he's Jewish. And they're promoting people to get screwed over. They're promoting a guy who's going to screw over people. So this is the craziness that I see on one end bashing gold and silver, and then on the other, it's Max Kaiser saying Bitcoin's going to go to the moon, Bitcoin's going to go to the moon. Hey, Bitcoins could go to the moon if you start to see nasty inflation, but it's not going to happen all at once. And it seems based on his Twitter page that he's obsessed. The point that I'm trying to make is that when you see all this, number one, positive energy when it comes to Bitcoins and lashing out to people who are against it, that may be a sign that a short-term top may be coming in Bitcoins. I mean, you saw a top around 1240-ish, a little more than the price of gold. But I'm not going to recommend anything, but if I were to own Bitcoins right now, I would probably take some off the table, and I would probably maybe start to put some money in silver again, right? It's being bashed so much. You could see the emotion. You've seen a 180-degree turn. Before I end this, I wanted to read you this quote by Silver Futurist. I think he, number one, completely nails it. This feels so much like silver in 2011. The ridiculous stories, the high flying price, the complete inaccurate comparisons. So, something to think about. So there are probably some of these stories that sound crazy. Some of them may be true. Probably most of them are false, in my opinion. But anyways, thanks for listening, guys, and I'll talk to you another time.